I've had my Tesla Model Y for 6 months, and today we're going to the service center. Now you might notice a few goodies in my car. We've got this YOLK steering wheel. We also have a rear display. Shout out to Hand Show for sponsoring all of these products. I have a bike wrap to run over, so I'm just making sure I got it in my view. We're going to talk about all of the awesome accessories in this car, all of the great experiences, but also every single issue that I've had over the past 6 months. We're going to talk about it all in this video. Let's go. It seems like something in there is rattling, and we're gonna have to find out what it is and how much it costs me to fix it. If you want to stay up to date on exactly how the service experience goes, please smash the subscribe button, because that is going to be coming up in a future video, so you don't want to miss it. But for now, let's move on to the exterior wear and tear over 6 months of usage. So literally in the first week of me buying this car, I made 4 additions to the exterior. The hubcaps were the first one, and they're the only ones that are damaged, by the way, and I'll link everything in the description below. I also tinted these windows, so these are all 20% front and back, these mud guards, and also this rear spoiler. Apparently it's carbon fiber. So the only reason these tires actually got damaged, not the tires themselves, but the hubcaps, is because of how flush against the side of the vehicle these tires are. They really stick out more than the normal vehicle, and so it's really easy to curb rash these hubcaps. Now I know I'm just sounding like I'm making excuses for myself, and I kind of am, but more important are those mud guards. These mud guards on both the front and the rear have, or the front and the rear, because of how far out these tires are, they very easily can kick rocks into the paint, and these mud guards have helped immensely over the past 6 months, making sure my paint looks fresh. Obviously there is going to be some scratching, but overall it looks way better than if I didn't have any of these mud guards. And the last exterior update that I made to talk about is this rear spoiler. Now it is an Amazon purchase, I've got it linked below, but even 6 months later, extreme weather, you know, sunshine, winter, it hasn't faded. So it still keeps its matte look. All of the fibers look pretty pristine. Now it is secured with double-sided tape, so there is no screws in here, right? Just tape. It does shake on the edges, like you see that right there. But for the most part, like the main hole is fixed. It's just on the edge. Whoa. I thought there was a bug inside. All right, you didn't see that. And talking about scratching the paint, we've all been told that the paint is very thin. It's a thin layer of paint. It's a cheap paint. I mean, I know the stories, but so far, 6 months in, there hasn't been any deep damage to the paint itself. Nowhere where I can show you guys actual scratching. There's the usual where it's, you know, dust and chips and grime from other places hitting the side panels and on the highways themselves. But so far, no damage whatsoever to the paint. And again, a major reason is those mud guards down here. You need to get yourself some mud guards. The only issue that I do have with this paint is in the front of the car. There are basically a ton of dead bugs on the front of my grill area, the front of this car, all the way to the side, like all the way down here, and it is incredibly impossible to get these out. I have tried wiping it. You're gonna need to get a solution called Goo Gone to remove that, but because this like front flat panel is so flat, every little bug, mosquito you hit is literally just gonna plaster itself all over your front. So this is me after cleaning this car up. So I did clean it up 2 days ago, but you can still see a bunch of bug marks all over the front. It's just really hard to clean the front of this car. But overall, as far as the exterior is concerned, nothing that you need to worry about too much. Let's go ahead inside the car and let me take you around the real fun. Range degradation, because we all know the battery is going to degrade over some period of time. 6 months is enough time for the battery to degrade and start to have that plateau. Now, this is characteristic of every single battery in every single device. So it doesn't matter if it's a phone or a tablet. So as far as the range degradation is concerned, it is barely noticeable. Now, it is noticeable, but let me explain. On my daily commute, nothing has changed. I don't have to sit at a charger for any longer. I don't have to pay any significant amount more per month, but it is noticeable because in the past, I would lose 1% after going down like 3 signals, but now I'll lose 1% after a single signal. So I have these like checkpoints in my head where I know I'm gonna lose 1% as I'm, you know, getting out of my house, getting onto the highway, but that's it. Like that is the epitome of range degradation. It doesn't really impact my overall commute. It doesn't impact my wallet as much as you might think. And recently I got an email from the big boss, Tesla themselves, that said that I could add 30 miles of range to my car. Like, I could, over the air, they could send an update and it would add 30 miles of range. It said up to 30 miles of range for $1,000. That I didn't do it. It's not worth it. And the main reason is because 30 miles of range is, first of all, not even going to add $1,000 of value to this car. So it's just not even an investment from that perspective. But also, you're getting up to 30 miles. And if we know anything about Tesla, it is that they generally grossly overestimate how far their cars can actually go. This car can comfortably do 160 to 180 miles on a full charge, but this is the rear wheel drive, so it's not the long range or the performance. That being said, I would have thought about giving $1,000 to Tesla if this over the air range increase was about like 200 miles, 200 Tesla miles, which basically means about 100 miles. Then I would have really seriously considered it. For $1,000, sure, because that might also increase the value of my car, but otherwise I'm not gonna do it. And this is exclusive to rear wheel drive models only. And I've taken this car to Toronto and I only had to stop twice, one for 15 minutes and the second stop was 20 minutes. This is a 350-mile drive almost from Philadelphia to Toronto. It was a comfortable drive. It wasn't like I had to drive slower. I was driving at like 75 where permitted. So I was driving in the speed range. I wasn't speeding, but I wasn't going overly slow, and it saved me about $100. Versus a gas car, it does save you money, it does save the pockets, but at the same time, it's not so bad where, you know, everyone's talking about there's not enough range or you have to sit at a gas stop for way too long. It's really not that bad. So let's talk about one of the most fun and yet diabolical things about this car. The yoke, ladies and gentlemen, this is so much fun. It just makes this a whole spaceship feel, which is what this car should be like. Now, I know some people say the yoke is uncomfortable. I know that. And I know it's a major investment. Now, this yoke is from Hansho, and I've got a link down below and a discount code that you can use to get a bunch of percentages off your car. So it does help. Now, this is the new Model Y and Model S inspired one, and you can tell there's a few differences here as compared to those other generic ones, which I really didn't like. I don't think those are worth it, guys. This one just looks a lot more OEM. The leather, everything is super premium, and it has the heating function, which is an absolute must. But let's talk about a problem real quick. Let's talk about one of the major issues I have with this interior, because it's not all sunshine in here, and that would be the suspension, ladies and gentlemen. This car's suspension is horrible. Now, I knew before I bought this that the suspension was going to be bad because a lot of people talk about how bad the suspension is, and so I was expecting it to not be that good. I've been in some stiff cars, ladies and gentlemen. I've been there, but this, oh my goodness. It's not just stiff, it's also big. And big, stiff, oh, that's a problem. Why am I laughing? The suspension is so bad that you do feel it in your butt. You feel it in the chassis, you feel it in the wheel. Even the wheel, or the yoke in my case, shakes as I'm driving on the road. Like, I can feel the bumps in the road in the yoke, okay? So you feel everything that's on the road. And the tragedy of it all is that I feel like the rattle that I have in my speaker, I don't know if it's the bottom speaker or the top speaker, but I'm sure is because of the suspension. It is the reason you see most of the rattles in people's cars. Things are going to rattle because of how stiff everything bumps and shakes around. That's just gonna happen. If you want to reduce all of those issues, just soften up the suspension. That's all you gotta do. But aside from suspension, it is largely a genuinely, I'm being honest, it's a nice experience. Now, you might be thinking, well, if the suspension is that bad, how could it possibly be nice? First of all, the view, okay? You see everything. Everything is available, even the sky, okay? So just in case there's bombs dropping, you can see them dropping. It's a pretty nice view. And obviously the back, I mean, that's all you really get for the rear window. And I know it's not a lot, but ladies and gentlemen, we have this thing right here. We got that. We got so many cameras in this car that is not a problem. And not just that, the speakers are hands down some of the best I have ever used in my life. They sound fantastic. They're loud, they're clear, and the bass is proper. So yes, it rattles, yes, it shakes, but you turn on those tunes and it all drowns. It all drowns. Okay, let's talk about some accessories, ladies and gentlemen. So aside from the screen protector I talked about and the yoke, I also added this LED strip that you see going all across the dashboard, and that's mainly for nighttime. So at nighttime, it does get really dark in here and there are zero lights. Also in the front, I added these floor mats, which are a must. If you get one thing, get these floor mats. You like the new car smell, ladies and gentlemen? You like your car smelling good? Get yourself some proper floor mats, ladies and gentlemen. These floor mats have literally saved my car multiple times. I've had in the back seats, I've had someone drop a whole can of Sprite, okay, on the floor. Those floor mats scooped it all up. And these ones specifically are hemmed on the edges, so they actually rise up and they don't allow even liquid to fall onto the carpet. Guys, if that liquid did get anywhere in the carpet, there you go. You got the mold. You got the smell. You got it all for months, ladies and gentlemen, and that is impossible to get out. That's where your car is going to start smelling disgusting. So get yourself some floor mats. I can't recommend them enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the rear screen. Okay, so you can actually control the front seats, not the driver's seat, but the passenger seat from the back, just to give yourself more leg room. But you can also watch TV shows without occupying the sound system of the car. Also, it connects via Bluetooth, so if you want, sit in the back and put your speakers on or put on your own headphones, you can do that and watch whatever content you want to watch. It connects to YouTube, Netflix, TikTok. It's basically a whole Android experience right in the back seats, and it keeps the USB-C ports, both of them, and the ear vents as well. So it's got a ton of functionality. It is obviously touchscreen, and it just adds, again, a whole futuristic look, a vibe that is necessary in a car like a Tesla. I wish I had a driver so I could sit in the back of this car. The back is just so nice. You get that, tons of leg room. Again, these back seats recline back, and of course you get to enjoy Gintama on the display, and the windows are tinted. Ladies and gentlemen, that is kind of it for the 6 months update of the Tesla. Now, those are the issues that I've had, which was literally just the one rattle. Everything else, including the range degradation, has not been so bad and has not been an issue for me. No real damage on the exterior either, no paint damage to talk about other than, you know, what was in the hubcaps, but that's easily replaced because their hubcaps are plastic pieces. I'm really happy with this car. It is one of the best, the single best daily drivers that you can buy in 2024, in my opinion, and it's just a fun thing to take around the city, to even take on long drives and road trips. The only thing that I would recommend them fix is the suspension, because that thing is hella tough, okay? It's stiff, but other than that, it's a ton of fun. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.